Okay, so now we're speaking of Jake Paul. Let's talk about the New York Times article.
Yeah.
Taylor is in the lobby, by the way. I don't know if you want to
Okay.
go over it first.
I hope she's got a
We should
minute.
go over it
Yeah, I want to
first.
go over the article first. I have here.
Okay.
I'm going to read like my favorite highlights here from it. So, Aaron. So this is mostly from the perspective of this, who's a man now, Aaron Mitchell. Oh no, AJ. So it's this kid AJ who was there when he was 14. So it's mostly from his perspective. Aaron Mitchell's his dad. Said he was not very impressed with Jake. So I guess a little backstory.
Yeah.
This 14-year-old boy was trying to make it as a musician. He had like 80,000 followers at the time on Instagram, and I guess Jake saw something in him, and so he like aggressively pursued him to join Team 10.
Also, what I like is that the article, just to even give it a little more background, they take a look back at Team 10, and they say like how that was kind of like maybe not the first influencer kind of house thing, but it was definitely the most popular one that kind of set off that trend. And so it was interesting to see them take a look back at it, because I do remember it being so weird, and it's like, things must have gone wrong.
Oh yeah.
With that house.
Well, look at it now. It's like
yeah.
everybody left bitterly. They all left bitterly hating Jake.
Yeah. So it was interesting to now, being a little like few years after it, see a serious article about it.
Well, I never even heard of this kid, right? But it sounds like insanely. Well, I'll read it. They touch on everything I want to say. So it starts here. I grabbed my favorite excerpts because the article is kind of long. So Aaron Mitchell, AJ's father, said he was not impressed with Jake Paul at first, and he didn't want his son, who was 14 at the time, involved in Team 10. However, after extensive conversations with Mr. Paul's parents, Greg Paul and Pam Stepnick, you like that? Mr. Paul's assistant, Erica Costell, who's in her mid-20s, and Niels Visser, another member of Team 10, he and his wife, Allison, decided to allow AJ to join the group. You got to appreciate that Jake Paul's dad, who's there eating out little girls.
Chill.
Allegedly.
Let's not.
Jesus.
Hey, I saw it.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
What didn't I see?
You didn't see anybody's.
For sure, him.
You didn't see anybody's face in that video.
That's just kind of gross. Just don't say that.
Okay. Hit the kill switch, Dan.
Kill switch.
Do we not have the kill switch?
I'm a fucking savage. You gotta do
I
it.
haven't managed to get that set up since 10,
You guys
10 minutes
remember
ago when we discussed it.
We grabbed the soundbite, and you guys made me stop using it because it was
Yeah, it's too gross.
Disgusting.
Everybody was like, "You have to stop, or I'm going to stop watching the show."
Listen,
Disgusting.
I think we all agree in our opinion it was probably Greg, almost certainly Greg, but we can't say.
Bro, you could see his face in the video. Why is everyone tiptoeing around this?
No, you couldn't.
You could see
It's
his
not
beard and
for
his face.
sure.
GP coming at you.
It's not for sure.
It was for sure him.
No, you can't say that.
It was. What is everybody? You could
I'm-
see his face.
I don't remember seeing
You
his
could
face
see
in that
his
video. I
face.
think
I
I'm
remember
misremembering.
that we were saying that it's not for sure him.
And he made a video begging the hackers to get in contact with him.
Yeah, but it's
GP's up.
you can't come here and say it was for sure him. You just can't.
I think the problem is you don't know who the girl was. She was young though, probably over 18 though. But anyway, whatever.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
Oh, allegedly it was him. I saw his fucking face in the video.
In your opinion.
Well, anyway, you got to love the irony of Jake's dad being like, "No, it's totally safe. It's good, man. It's good here. He's going to be in good hands." And he's outside in a camper fucking the fangirls. It's craziness.
GP coming at you.
So, okay, blows my mind. The guy's such a piece of shit. According to several former House members, Mr. Paul could take 10 to 20% of the Team 10's YouTube ad revenue for up to 5 years, even if they left the group. That part is really sketch.
Yeah.
On May 24th, Mr. Mitchell arrived at the Team 10 house with a single suitcase. For several weeks, he didn't have a bedroom, so he slept on a leather couch in the living room. Mr. Mitchell was given a room to share with Alyssa Violet, who was 19 at the time and publicly dating Mr. Paul. Do you find that so odd that
Yeah, a 14-year-old boy with a 19-year-old girl.
Super weird. In his downtime, Mr. Mitchell would write songs in a notebook and play them on his keyboard. One day he came home to discover his keyboard broken. Mr. Paul told him it had been thrown in the pool for a video. Followers. Followers were the primary currency of Team 10 House. If you got tagged to one of Jake's YouTube videos, you could get 50,000 followers, Mr. Mitchell said. Dan says, I swear I can remember seeing his face.
I just fact checked it.
Did you look at a screenshot?
Yeah, well, I looked at a screenshot to remind myself, and
Oh,
yeah,
Amy.
the whole thing is first person from his perspective, so
Oh.
you don't see his face. And then I also found an article in Newsweek where it says the photos were blurred and the 3 sex tape clips don't show any faces.
Okay, I
Retract.
this is
Thank you,
I,
Dan.
Ethan Klein, on behalf of myself and the H3 podcast and every year, I retract my statement. I apologize sincerely to the Paul family and to Greg.
That
for-
said, it's almost certainly him, in my opinion. You could say in your opinion.
I apologize for my defamatory, or well, I don't know if I want to admit that it's fuck you, it's you, Greg.
GP coming at you.
GP creep. Sue me, we can do discovery. That's what I always say. Because you know when you have to sue someone, you have this thing of discovery where you get to swap and you get to look at all the source items. You're like, okay, let me see all you got. You're not going to sue me because it's true. JP. He's like, you taking away work possibilities from me in my van outside of Jake Paul's house. I sincerely
I'm a fucking
apologize
savage.
to
You gotta
Greg
do it.
Paul for my comments. I retract it. You cannot see his face. With peace and love. Followers were the primary currency of Team 10 House. If you get tagged in one of Jake's YouTube videos, you could get 50,000 followers, Mr. Mitchell said. Jake would use that to manipulate everyone. If you didn't do what Jake wanted, he'd tell everyone in the house not to tag you. Jake had a monopoly, and he decided who got famous.
That's so gross.
But there was money coming in too, and members of the group had questions about where it was going. When Team 10 formed, Mr. Paul set up and controlled business email accounts for each member to solicit opportunities. Mr. Mitchell said he was not aware of the opportunities that he was being pitched for or what was coming in. In the 14 months he spent as part of the group, he said he was paid directly for 2 brand deals, but he never received payment for them from Team 10. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Mr. Mitchell relied on small amounts of money he received from his parents to cover expenses like meals out with the group. Mr. Paul had convinced Mr. Mitchell's parents that their son would be taken care of, but no meal or structure were provided for him or the other teenage residents. Most of them had never been expected to shop or cook for themselves and didn't have the means to do so. People see these mansions and they see people living like royalty, but no one knew I was sleeping on the floor and I didn't have food, he said. Meanwhile, cut again to Greg Paul being like, no, you're in good hands. Everything's going to be fine. I'm an adult. I'm an equal. You know, it's like, oh, boy.
Yo, folks, what's going on? It's GP coming at you.
So bad.
Vina Dubel, a professor of law at the University of California, said, we have all these laws in place that have been around for a century to protect child performers, but they have not been extended to safeguard the health, welfare, and safety of children influencers. Because these young creators make money through a variety of revenue streams and are not employed by a single entity, they can be vulnerable to exploitation. If there's not some kind of entity taking responsibility as an employer, then we're going to see the kind of exploitative and unsafe practices we have been seeing, she said. You like that?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who invites a 14-year-old into their home and doesn't fucking like
Makes them sleep on the floor and doesn't give them. It's like
doesn't
a.
feed them, throws their keyboard in the pool, makes them sleep on the floor.
Also, they just get talent for free because basically he probably used them for all his videos, you know?
He never paid him.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So embarrassing.
And then he makes them think like they should be thankful for being in a video because they get tagged and they get clout.
Exactly. It's wild. It's just wild. Wild, 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 man. The allure of
that
living
clout.
independently and building a following had worn off. At first, I was like, there's no parents here, and we get to be free and do what we want. I felt like free in a way, but having Jake be the adult was weird because we all listened to Jake. He was the boss. During parties, marijuana and alcohol were available in the Team 10 house. Mr. Mitchell, 14 years old, said he once drank so much he blacked out. Nice. The group often attended parties where guests in their 20s and 30s would mingle with teenagers. Mr. Mitchell said he began a sexual relationship with a woman nearly a decade older than him, whom he had met at an influencer party. He understands now that the relationship could not have been consensual because of his age. I was a baby, he said. I had a baby face. I feel like that's just so weird now. It wasn't until recently. I seen pictures of myself at 13, 14. I look like a baby.
Yeah.
The fact that this is all so wild. It wasn't until recently that Mr. Mitchell told his parents the full extent of what took place in the house. Mrs. Mitchell said she was horrified and angry. I'll tell you right now, if I had known anything about any relationship with a girl 10 years older than him, I would have had the law involved. Yeah. I have to say, the parents are kind of dumbasses, though, too.
I didn't want to be rude, but
I mean, come on. My parents wouldn't fucking
It's
let me go
Jake Paul.
stay. Yeah. Or any influencer house for that matter. I mean, shit. He's 14.
Well, his parents, they get sucked into the allure of
Yeah.
the fame and everything. It's a classic thing.
It's not a new story. The
Showbiz parents.
Hey, worse things happen in Hollywood. You give them to the custody of an actual like predator.
yeah.
I've heard of that happening.
That definitely happens. But I would say, on the whole, child actors in Hollywood nowadays are protected much more than what is being described.
You're saying that you
that's kind of the thing about this article that's interesting, because this has no rules, or they're not following anything. Like they're not providing anything for this kid.
and they're destroying his property.
They're making
giving
money
him
off of
drugs.
them. It's crazy.
Sounds like the stories from the 30s and 40s of, what child actors went through back then.
Several months after Mr. Mitchell's departure, the rest of Team 10 was forced to move. Neighbors said Mr. Paul had creating living hell for them and turned their sleepy neighborhood into a war zone. We're familiar with that story. The following year, Even and Emilio Martinez, two YouTubers from Spain who had lived in the Team 10 house, spoke about their decision to leave. I actually want to open this because it's so funny, but they said in the video, I remember this happening, they said Mr. Paul bullied them, terrorized them with pranks, and made racist comments mocking their background and language skills. They speak English as a second language. I remember when this came out. Pretty, I feel for them, but at the same time, they're wearing shirts that say savage.
So, you.
Oh, man.
Hi guys, we're back. So I know we haven't been posting a lot of videos. We're here to tell you guys something. First, we should explain why.
No, I know. I just get a little taste. A little taste of the twins. I want to get a taste. We should make. Do you think this is a good graphic for Teddy Fresh? These guys don't strike me as savages. Just saying. Peace and love.
Let's not make fun of
I
kids.
don't think they're savages. I mean, they're sweet boys. Take that savage shirt off. Okay, now we move on to the essay allegations against Jake Paul. Alyssa Violet, the girlfriend who was sharing a room with the kid, she said in a 2018 interview with a YouTuber, Shane Dawson, we know him, he is not a physical abuser, but mentally and emotionally 100%. Every day, 2,000 times a day, she says in a video. I can't remember a conversation where it was me walking away feeling good about myself. If we filmed a video, he had to push me into a bush. Normally, you'd nudge someone or pretend to push them. He would actually shove me, she says, as she shows scars on the camera. That does sound like physical abuse. He would just do it way too hard. So then there's this girl who recently came out, Justine Paradise, 24-year-old TikTok influencer, accused Paul of essay. You guys heard that when we discussed it. She said of it, in a situation like that, there's nothing I could do. I was physically restricted and felt emotionally restricted afterwards to even say anything about it. 3 friends whom she told directly after about the event corroborated her account. So the New York Times went out of their way to corroborate this, Miss Paradise says she plans to file charges. Another one, Rayleigh Lowley, 21, a model and actress who began working with Mr. Paul when she was 17, said he often called her jailbait and commented on her appearance. She said that one evening in the late 2017, after filming a video, Mr. Paul groped her. She forcefully told him to stop and ran out of the room. Lowly quit shortly after the incident. It was with Jake. I was with Jake for months, and I saw what kind of person he was behind the scenes and what kind of person he put out to the rest of the world, she said. That actually, I've seen him do that kind of thing, AB. You've said to me where he kind of he has this thing where he like gropes girls. He just grabs their breasts. She's 17, bro. You've seen that, right, AB?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. He's done that like a couple times.
Jake obviously put out a statement, like literally everybody, like I love this. Everybody's for Me Too and women's rights, but no one is guilty. Nobody's ever done anything.
Yeah. But also,
Oh man.
I don't know. What's interesting is that somehow investors continue to go back to Jake Paul.
That's kind of the conclusion of our article, which I'm coming to
Yeah.
next, is that despite all of this, and there was big investors involved in Team 10. It's like, do you guys have no fucking decency? Do you have no ethical obligation to know what's going on in that house? I mean, their money enabled all this shit.
I mean, you don't really need an article to be written to see what was going on. It was happening in front of everyone.
According to Young Turks, Jake Paul's alleged victim, Justine Paradise, is filing charges against Jake. Good for you. Good for you, girl. Doing something. Because Jake's been treating this girl like shit, and a lot of people have been shitting on her, saying she's lying and all this bullshit. And she's like, fuck you, I'm going to the police. Like that. Bravery. This is Jake's statement. Sexual assault accusations are something that I or anyone should ever take lightly. That being said, this bitch is a liar. Fuck her. It's false. Same statement. Copy paste every time. I am a champion of women's rights. Here's the apology that everyone puts out. I am a champion of women's rights, and I have supported and donated my time to women's rights. That being said, this is slander, and I've never done anything like this. But I believe women. Not only have I never had a sexual relationship with this individual, but this claim is solely a manufacturer's accusation and a blatant attempt for attention. Exactly. She's clout chasing. Can we please stop thinking that the clout chasing is actually like that?
That's something that Jake
It doesn't
Paul
make sense.
lives by. It's like his whole world.
Pete Davidson's
pays-
after that clout.
Yeah.
I need that
He thinks you can pay people by tagging them.
Right. That has never. But like, can we just dispel this notion that that's even a thing? She's not getting clout from this. She's getting horrible
Especially after
attention.
Jake is making this post, she's going to get a ton of hate.
Well, from the
People are-
beginning, she was getting shit on and hated on. Keemstar was making all these statements. Keemstar literally went on Twitter and he goes, "Can you give me that? I actually want to watch that one because now it's super relevant." But Keemstar made this Twitter video. He goes, "She's lying because you can't get essayed in the mouth. Like, just close your mouth." That's what he. That was his take. That was the take
Honestly,
of a grown ass man.
I can't talk about it because I don't want to say something. I can't handle this stuff.
You can't?
He's so gross.
Who? Keemstar or
Yes,
Jake?
Keemstar.
Yeah,
I
Keemstar.
can't even talk about it. Like, what kind of
That's
statement is
fucked
that?
up.
Maybe you should go get.
Therapy?
No, maybe someone should do that to him, and then we'll see him.
Yeah, give
tell
me your
us.
mouth. Oh,
Yeah.
gross, Hila.
That's why I'm saying I can't even talk about him. I don't even want to go there. I can't talk about Keemstar. He's a disgusting human being.
Video called
been a
Trigger
good guy.
Warning, Jake Paul sexually assaulted me, in which she claimed that Paul forced her to perform oral sex on him in July of 2019 in his Los Angeles home. Now, since then, and by the way, she's planning on filing charges against him. Since then, a second woman has come forward, and she has claimed that she was also sexually assaulted by Jake Paul. She claims that when she was 17 years old,
That's the one we
he
just
had
watched. Okay. I mean, this is just information we already know. Here's the video just for you guys. I mean, everyone knows Keemstar is like probably the worst person on the internet. Even despite everything and all we talk about.
This isn't the first time
Hey,
he's
guys,
done it, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one person that tells the victim, "Oh, you could have just said no."
That's what he says in this video. It's like he missed. It's like he missed.
AB said it's at the 40-second mark-ish.
This is him talking about the whole thing.
Because, yeah, let's not listen to him talk for like several minutes.
This is a take in 2021 by a fucking, I don't know, late 30s with a daughter, by the way.
Seconds, busted a nut in her mouth, and she claims that she was sexually assaulted. Now, how does that happen? I like, what? Wouldn't she have to open her mouth and like participate in some way for that to happen? Like, can't you just turn your head, or can't you just get like?
Close your legs.
Is there?
That's what she said.
Is there
She had a
some
great
way
rebuttal.
to force oral sex on someone?
me so upset.
I mean,
It's like,
she's not saying that he had a weapon and was like, "You better do this." You know, she is saying that he grabbed her head and started fucking her face and came in her mouth. I don't understand the physics here. Like, I don't understand how that's possible. Like, why? Like, can't you get away? Is there really no way to get away? Is there really no way to just close your mouth, like, and just not let the penis enter your mouth? Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't believe this story at all. Am I missing something here?
Yes.
Please
Yes.
challenge me.
A lot of
Please
things.
challenge
I
me,
mean,
right?
really,
Like,
just
I don't want to go in front of millions of people, get called a victim blamer, and not have a piece of information that I should have. But like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It sounds like BS. Please challenge me.
I mean, how do you want someone to challenge you?
Well, he
Go
got challenged.
reenact it.
He got challenged, and he immediately was like, "I never said anything like that," and like just outright denied that he was.
But didn't he say on Drama Alert that he doesn't believe her, too?
And it's not the first time. There was a different girl
Yeah.
that came out about a different story, and
This
he
guy-
had to call her out too on his platform, which I still don't understand why YouTube and Twitter and everyone gives him a platform.
It was this guy Curtis something. He apparently essayed his what was it? His girlfriend, and he goes, This is the classic fucking victim blaming. He goes, "How can you essay your girlfriend or wife?" Am I getting that right? I don't want to speak out of turn here.
I don't remember this story at all. So I don't know.
AB,
Talk about
where's
it,
AB?
doing research.
Oh.
I'm here. Yeah. It was like in last summer, right?
Yeah.
I believe that was the situation, but I'm not 100% sure.
I
but
think that was his take, where he's like, "How can you essay your girlfriend? That's impossible." As if they're just fuck dolls for you to abuse, and like there's no. Anyway, yeah, it's obviously the worst take I've ever heard in my life, and he's a horrible human being. He really is. Keemstar consistently amazes me, you know.
At this point, it doesn't amaze me. What amazes me is YouTube, is Twitter, is everyone that is allowing him to spread this words to millions of people.
Oh, we got a fresh tweet.
Well, I don't know if you want to actually show it because anyways, basically, yeah, you're right. He's saying it's hard to believe because they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
This is good here. This is what he said of that case you're talking about. He said, "I hate cases of R word. In most cases, only 2 people in the world actually know what happened. Everyone else has to guess. The Jesse Smiles and Curtis story is so hard to believe because they were boyfriend and girlfriend." So she says he R-worded her. He went to jail for it, didn't he?
I'll check right now.
But the truth is, none of us actually know what happened. Okay, douche. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. Jake Paul, Keemstar is the worst. So in business land, we're wrapping up. We're going to get
I
to
think
Taylor.
this was one that I personally responded to, I remember.
Oh,
where
pull that
he
up.
said that-
Send me on Discord. I'll pull it up.
It was like, she should have just said no.
He obviously has got some issue. Keemstar has deeply rooted issues with women because he always
Oh,
takes.
yeah. I mean, his thing is to, like, either make fun of their appearance, including myself, including AB's wife.
Lena, yeah.
I'm gonna have a
Or call out victims, calling them liars, and sending his fans to go attack them. And then he somehow like will do this thing where he's like, "I'm gonna donate $100. Everyone hashtag good guy Kim to win," and then he gets that trending to make it seem like good guy Kim is a thing.
Well,
It's
whenever you
just
see,
insanity.
well, I will tell you, whenever you see good guy Kim trending and you click it, it's all people shooting
He's
on.
basically paying for it too, to trend.
But anyway, yeah,
insane.
Keemstar started this thing to say Hila looks like a horse, and it was like basically he was just tweeting pictures of horses to her and me, which was, you know, he's it's epic savage moments. He is beyond incredibly. He's the worst. I mean, he's the worst. It's crazy.
I'm going to have a little bit of a rant, and I haven't researched everything, so I don't have all the details.
Coming out of the gate strong.
Newsman coming out the gates.
So
I'm gonna
maybe
go on a
there's
rant, and I
something
don't know what I'm
extra to
talking
this story
about.
that I just don't know about.
Oh, can you hand me the puppet? If I'm going to proceed, I might as well go all in here.
Yeah, people are surprised that he made fun of Abe's beautiful wife. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he did. He called her a
He
witch.
called her the Wicked Witch. She started.
It's insane.
Oh, let me read your tweet.
For no reason, too.
You
It's
said-
so insane.
Oh no, he has this man has a daughter. Let's remind you. So he obviously has some trauma about his mom or something like that, and obviously it's manifesting himself and thinking. He really thinks women are.
I'm not sure where it is.
Oh really?
I mean,
It's got to be here somewhere. We have to find the
Whatever.
puppet.
I don't want to even go
I have
on
a-
for too long
okay.
about this guy.
So, oh wow, Hila fucking went off on Kimi. She said, "What a terrible, dangerous take. Victims of sexual assault already have it hard enough speaking out, with feelings of shame and guilt. The last thing we need is for someone like Keemstar also criticizing how they should have just said no. Fuck Keemstar."
And that was how long ago already? He's still doing it.
Just last year.
Still doing it.
Oh baby, thank you. We have Keemstar here to speak for himself on the matter.
Okay. First of all, Ethan, you are a fucking hypocrite.
Okay, Keemstar. Here, let me do this one. Hang on.
there you go.
Okay, you're telling me, why didn't you just close your mouth? Why didn't you just close your mouth? I mean, it's impossible to get essayed. You just say no, or you just close your mouth. It's literally impossible. Okay,
Keemstar. How would you know?
Trust me, I know.
You do know.
Look at my eyes.
His eyes are all buggy and bloody. Here, let's watch this video.
Right? But I just read a Me Too movement or Me Too statement.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done.
right.
We're almost done.
Right.
We're almost done.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to have a little bit of a rant, and I haven't researched everything, so I don't have all the
like this
details.
guy.
So maybe there's something extra to this story that I just don't know about, right?
We have the
but I
reporter
just
waiting.
read a Me Too movement or Me Too statement about these gamers. They live in a gamer house. One's a guy, one's a girl. The guy's drunk. He jumps into her bed. He's like putting his hand up against her chin. He like grabs her hand, kisses it. He grazes his hand across her chest. And the girl says, "I was so shocked by all these three things that I just didn't even react. I just was froze. I didn't
That
say
makes
anything."
total sense to me.
It's your response.
When you get
So
scared,
the
you
girl
laugh.
froze.
Yeah, it
She
makes total
froze,
sense.
and
She's
that's
scared.
a thing that happens
Of course.
to people.
Exactly what happened to that girl, Justine Paradise. She's just, and also
with every women and men situation, there is a power difference. So what could you even do, really? Every guy, almost 90% of guys will be stronger than the girl in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that girl in the Jake Paul situation could have just moved him? Jake Paul is huge.
well, okay, but he's ignoring the
Really
fact
gonna-
that she says, first of all, the girl says Jake Paul was holding her head down forcefully, and she said it only lasted 20 seconds, and she was just in shock at what was going
Yeah.
on. And like, so yeah, it makes total sense, Keemstar. Douche star.
Responsibility to say something. If a guy's making moves on you and you don't want that to happen, you got to say no. Like that's your responsibility. You have to say no.
No, it's the guy's responsibility not to try to commit sex crimes on women. It's not their responsibility to fucking be ready at all times to swat away predators. How is it their responsibility? That's not the society we're building. That's not a safe society we're building for women, where it's their responsibility to protect themselves. That's like victim blaming 101. It's like, oh, you wore sexy clothing, so you had it coming.
Yeah. That's
Such a weird take.
You can't just not do anything and then be like, he wronged me. What? You got to say no. You have to say no. And what are we talking about? This? We're talking about kissing a hand? That's what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about he got in bed and he gave her unwanted touching. It's fucking creepy. She shouldn't have to deal with that. That's wrong to do.
Now, if you would have said to him, get away from me, and he still grabbed your hand and kissed it, fine. But when you say nothing, no like, hey, you're crossing the line, hey, too much, and he just kisses your hand, why didn't you pull your hand away?
Does it feel like he's defending himself a little bit? You know what I mean? He's like, I've done shit like that. That's why he's
Definitely.
like this. He's like, I've done shit like this. There's nothing wrong with it.
Like,
he's like,
I don't
I've
get
done
it.
way worse.
Yeah, exactly. I've done way worse. It's not a crime. I feel totally fine about what I did.
I mean, maybe there's more details out there that I just don't know about, right? Maybe there's more stories
That's
out
what
there
all
about
these
this
guys
individual.
who are,
Maybe
who are attacking the victims, it's because they fucking are defending themselves. They know they've done worse.
he is a creep, right? But based on what I just read, and I didn't even read the full thing because I couldn't get through it because I was so angry that this person's getting Me Too'd for kissing a girl's hand. You, the female, have a responsibility to say, no, no, stop. I don't like this. Get away. No, you have that responsibility. I don't have all the details, but if this whole man's career is completely finished and ruined from kissing a girl's hand.
Anyway. He's the worst person alive. Case closed. Look into Keemstar if you don't know about him. He's the worst. Cheers. God bless. So let me finish this and we'll get Taylor on the call. Basically, in business land, in reaction to Jake Paul, he continues to have new venture funds already lined up from powerful Silicon Valley have agreed to contribute to the fund. These older investors come in who have no idea about social media, and they see he's got a lot of followers, and from their perspective, it's a success, Mr. Mitchell said. The real story is Jake should not be getting any money from investors from the things he's done in the past. Where other YouTubers like David Dobrik and James Charles have faced financial fallout after accusations of misconduct, Mr. Paul has yet to see any consequences. If Jake's sponsors and investors don't hold him accountable, then why would he change any of his actions?